Vicente Barreto, and I'm your host. I'm a corporate strategist, problem solver, social entrepreneur, writer, mom of two, and passionate for growth at home, in business, or in my community. Today is particularly exciting for me at the podcast. I am not only interviewing a role model of an entrepreneur, but also a close friend who I greatly admire. It is a first to bring someone so close to my heart to the podcast, so bear with me if I can't hold the excitement and some nervousness. The Make Space for Growth podcast amplifies the voices of women entrepreneurs and leaders, celebrating the strength and resilience it takes to thrive in both business and life. I believe women can be at the forefront of shaping industries with journeys of adaptability, bold decisions, and perseverance. This is a story to be heard and recognized. This podcast embraces the full self because true success extends through the professional and the personal. By sharing these stories, we hope to inspire and reshape the narrative around leadership. So it is time to welcome Joana Trigueiros to the podcast. Joana is the CEO of Maray, a Portuguese footwear brand known for its bold and elegant designs that empower women to walk with confidence. After 20 years in multinational companies, most notably at marketing in Danone, Joana made the leap into entrepreneurship in 2019. She describes herself as a simple woman who values the small things in life, a devoted mom, and a hands on business leader. She believes in really getting her hands into every aspect of the business, and she loves to get to know her people, either her team or her customers. Super demanding, yet pragmatic and resilient, help her keep her balance. Her mix of pragmatism, high standards, and resilience has shaped both her leadership and the spirit of the Maray brand. Let's dive into it. Joana, welcome to the Make Space for Growth podcast.
Hello, thank you for inviting me for today.
It's a pleasure. To get us started, may I ask you, what was your favorite thing to do as a child, and what did you want to be when you grew up?
Look, I'm thinking. I think the best moments I had as a child were at the beach. I always loved sunny days, and at some point I thought that it was very calm. I loved exploring at the beach, and alone. Honestly, I prefer to be alone and to play. And so this is my best memory as a child. And I wanted to be a banker from early beginning. So I love managing my money. I had my money behind the beds, and I was always taking care of it. And from early stages, I said I want to be a banker. So I went there, but I didn't like it. So
And it's funny because a lot of people that come here, they actually ended up doing something very close to what they thought they wanted to be. But you went to a very different path. You spent 17 years at Danone.
yeah.
And can you maybe share a bit about the career you developed there and how this background maybe prepared you for later in life launching a business?
Yeah, I always loved marketing, and that's where I've been most of my career at Danone. So I loved making things happening, and that was from early stages. That was my great will, and my great power to make it happen. And at some point of my career, there was a boss that I had that told me exactly that you are the kind of girl that make it happen, and that's what we want. And I was saying, if I make it happen for me, maybe I can make it happen for, if I can make it happen for Danan, I also can make it happen for me someday. And I always had the will to build my own business, but you know life goes on. And as a click, 17 years passed by, and I was very happy at Danone. Well, from what I was doing, I went cross category. I went within Iberia, doing almost everything in marketing. I did myself almost everything in marketing that was there to be done. And at some point, I also got a bit tired of not managing my agenda. So the being an entrepreneur was kind of an escape for having and controlling my own agenda, and also applying, of course, some of the things that I've learned along the way. I could say that maybe of course, technical skills that I've learned along the way, but also my leadership skills that I had to develop since I got a team there. And then obviously it helped me to build my own business, but it was kind of a shock as well, because in a multinational you have great teams and great departments that help you with IT issues, and that's not the case. So IT issue, solve it yourself. Anything issue, solve it yourself. I even had my one of my first bosses at Unilever. When I was at Unilever, he was one of my bosses. And when I told him that I had my own business, and I said at the early stages that I was my CEO, and he was like, "You are the perfect CEO, chief everything officer." And I was like, kind of laughing, because that was what I was doing when I didn't have a team. So that was really nice.
So at some point, you called me up and you said, "Hey, Sara, I'm thinking of buying this business, this shoe brand." And what attracted you to the brands? And, we spoke about the entrepreneurship, but obviously every entrepreneur needs a passion. So what attracted you to the brand?
Look, I'm very clumsy while I walk since I was a child. And I practically was born in a shoe shop, a family shoe shop, as you know. So before I was reading or making calculations, I was already selling shoes. So that's part of my DNA, because you, I always loved shoes. I had to do this, and I didn't want to preschool. I didn't went to preschool. I was directly selling shoes with my grandmother and my mother and my aunt, and it was a great way to learn. Really, I was organizing things, I was dealing with people, and that's also part of who I am. So that's why I tell you that it's on my DNA, and I don't lie. And then, I was always working, or most part of the time working at specialized nutrition that didn't have anything to do with shoes. And one day there was a colleague of mine that said, "Joana, I know you love shoes, and I know you don't wear high heels. So there's a brand that you need to know." And she presented me the brand. I start buying the brand as a consumer. And a few days later, I saw in their Instagram that they were sleeping the brand, putting the brand asleep. There was a personal issue, and I thought, I'm a bit tired of multinationals, and at some point I will have to find a different way to make myself mm, to make a job for myself. And I come from a family of entrepreneurs, so that was not something that was strange for me. And I said, oh, why not? I sent a message to the founder, saying if she was interested on selling the brand. And yes, and then I asked for help to you. And here we are 5 years later, with our brand, which is bigger than before, of course. And that we did what we could. After 4 months of buying a brand, we entered in the pandemic season of COVID, and it was like quite
Where
a big
everyone was
change.
wearing slippers, flats, but some other kind of flats.
Exactly, exactly. Like it was tough, huh? It was tough that you make a decision for the incoming years of your life, and you decide to change your path in terms of career, and all of a sudden it's like, did I do the right thing? Am I okay doing this when people are at home and just go out with sneakers to give a walk with their dogs and all of that? So it's kind of tough. So that's why I stayed there for more 3 years, because no one wanted me to go out anyway. So it was like, okay, I'm struggling, but with this context, I need to get out of this, and not living only for my brand that was very, very small for that moment, and the potential was kind of broke.
Yeah, and you started us off on something that I wanted to talk about, because it's always a little bit of a question people have when they have a corporate life, that, you know, it's stable, it's predictable. And yes, it has all of its negatives, but you know, it's there's a lot of positives to it as well. And then you buy this brand and you have the opportunity to jump in. But actually what you did is you kept two jobs, right? And so a lot of people wonder if this is possible. And well, you're clearly here to tell us a story that it is possible. But maybe we can talk a little bit about what were the benefits and some of the particular challenges of starting a business or picking up a business like this and trying to build it from what it was.
Yeah, you know, I didn't have much a choice, to be honest. But indeed, I had the stability of getting a wage at the end of the month, and that was great. I had the opportunity as well to keep on touching with my teams at that moment. And on my late hours, I was working for Maray, which was a passion. So when you do it from the heart, it doesn't feel that such a sacrifice, even though it was work. I was trying not to punish myself much when I didn't go further with the brand, because I knew that the timings were tough. I had some chances, but I also had another job, so I was very devoted to my previous job, and I didn't want people to think that I was not taking or giving enough attention to my real job. And I was you know, I cannot even change this, you know. Because it shouldn't be more important when you do it for others. But I you know, I could not do it differently. And when I look behind my back, it was good. Even for Danone, it was great because I was start building some relationships with the people from the lifestyle that at the end tended to started to work for Danone as well in campaigns as 40 ml, for example, that I met one lady from the radio, Joana Cruz by Maray, and then I was doing a campaign with her for 40ml, you know, just because the contact was facilitated, obviously not because I was mixing things, but it was easier. At some point it was very easy for me to make it happen. So it was nice. You know, it was nice to not depend on Mara, which was at the beginning, but still have an escape room for my late hours that I enjoyed so much, and make it grow even
It's
slower.
interesting what you say, right? Because a lot of times we talk about the obvious, which is there's the benefit of a salary, and on the other side there's the reduction of risk. But actually, I think it's very interesting that you speak about the synergy between the two, and it's a synergy without mixing, right?
Yeah.
Where you are developing yourself on one side, and actually that has benefits both ways. It's not only that you're stealing from the corporate to put into your business, you're actually it creates a little bit of a circle. And I had that throughout the kind of my charity hat in the evenings when I was doing it, and I could tell it was contributing to my job, but sometimes you lose that perspective because you think it's only stealing from it. So I'm glad you brought that up, and you had that experience as well. So let's jump into the brand, which is, you know, what kind of pushed you to make the leap and to do this and to find your place in entrepreneurship, which you always knew you were going to go to. What is your vision for Marai, and what is this concept behind the brand that you're so passionate about?
Uh, you know, my vision for Mara is that we can make a bigger brand that takes a step into the world, not only in Portugal, because I truly believe that in Portugal we have a nice step already, a footprint already done. But in the world, I don't want the Marai to be a million billion brand. It's not my will. I want it to be present because we work for a niche, and I want it to be in 10 countries. Within 3 years I want to be in 10 different countries. If it goes to 20, that's fine, but you know, it's not that something that I pursue, like I need to do this, I need to do this. You know, I always wanted Marai to grow sustainably, and when you do it, because I've been doing it, and you know that with kind of self resources. I'm not building from night to day, Maray. And I think that's I have the chance to learn with the brands and for the brands, and I think that's more sustainable at the end of the day. And I don't want to kill myself as well for Maray, because I also learn without working for me that sometimes when you put too much of you, you also get a return which not always is that good. Lack of time for your children, lack of time for your health or for yourself, and that's not what I want. I want to make it happen, good for me, good for my kids, good for economically, of course, for Marai and for my team as well. So Marai is a brand for women and with women that want to live dynamic lives, not to kill themselves for the business, you know. At the end.
No, and we've had plenty of these conversations before, and no doubt you've had to remind me of that little detail of trying not to kill yourself along the way a few times. And so it's obviously something we've had to learn over the years, but that we also constantly need to remind ourselves that it's kind of one of the pillars. And you start hinting at it, but it's, you know, it's easy to speak about let's not kill ourselves and let's be balanced and have time, but at the end you're a chief everything officer, right? And so you own the vision, you manage the production, you manage the stores, you deal with the events and the markets. How do you manage your time, and how do you approach this, you know, this split at the end of the day that you need to clone yourself into multiple Joanas to be all this?
I try not to be that demanding. You know, I do all of that, but when I think about what I did in the past, it always seems that it's not that much. I cannot explain this, you know. It's like I do it. I love doing it. Sometimes I like a bit more hands. That's true. But there are specific moments, you know. It's not always that way, because I don't change the vision every month, not even every year, you know. I don't I produce two collections per year, so yes, I dedicate myself 2 weeks, diluted of obviously of for each. So you know, I don't even have it very very fine tuned in terms of time that I take to do that, because it comes and it goes. You know, it's like it's not very strict, but I love doing it. I love my life as it is now, and even there when there are tougher moments, you know, my mindset is always there are worse things, so everything will go right. You know, if it wouldn't be that way, when COVID came, I was like selling the brand again, or giving up, or I don't know, you know. And I didn't. You know, every time I have a big issue with the product that doesn't come for the fair, or with the product that doesn't come for the shooting and all of that, which are big stuff because there's a big investment behind it, I try to solve it, but not to panic. And that gives me a little peace of mind, you know? That's the truth. Even in tougher moments where sales don't come as they should, and I'm always confident that it will come. And at the end, everything I do things to change it and to make it happen, but it's not. You know, I don't kill myself for that, and I don't. You know, it mess my day, or it's you know, for me, there's so much that I take off this job and this business. The fact that I contact a lot with customers, and when there's a great story behind this contact with the customers, I feel really pleased. You know, I feel really happy. It gives me a lot more than the economical parts of it. So at the end, I produce for the customers. I produce for women, and I love it. I love doing it. And when some days are not that bright, I try to think tomorrow is another day, and everything will get solved. It's a bit a dreamer mindset,
But it's also pragmatic.
but I love it. You know, because I don't suffer that much. I don't know. I think I have a auto defense mechanism inside, not to suffer too much for things that I think that really don't deserve. So
Actually, you're making me think. I was watching this morning the Roger Federer commencement speech last year. I heard it again this morning for some reason, and actually, he makes a point that I think you can use as your approach, which is a point is only a point. Even when it's the best point or when it's just a double fault, it's only a point. And so he says it really helped him through his career keep that in perspective, because it gives you good and bad perspective for everything. So you're clearly very pragmatic, and you have this mentality where you can get that perspective. And at the end of the day, there have been challenges, and it's important to maybe bring some, because usually we haven't had a lot of product based businesses here, and product based businesses come with a whole other all sorts of challenges. I wonder if you can maybe share a little bit with us some of your challenges as you transformed Maray from what was an online brand into a high street brand and international brand.
yeah, look, one of the challenges started exactly on the online. When you have a brand that only sells online of a product that is such, which has such a specificity as a shoe, uh, and you don't have an offline brand, it doesn't give you much credibility, and also it doesn't give you the chance to let people try it and have the contact with the brand. Of course, in all products you have it, but for example, technology, it's more or less all the same. So it's not so relevant to get the touch of the things. In clothes you get the touch of the things, but it's easier to put a size M, for example, when you have 2 kilos more, 2 kilos less, it will fit you. On a fit is not that way. There are so many different kinds of fit that it really needs to fit
Yeah.
in, because it's the base of your body and you need to feel it comfortable. Even it's a fancy shoe, you need to feel it comfortable. So what I felt was like, in order to keep the online business, I need to have an online business. So the challenge starts the other way around. Then I started the offline business. So when you start, first challenge is where my customer is. So it's the basic, at the end, but it's not easy to find the perfect place for a small brand. So you need to find a good place where people, your target is in and passes by and has traffic. So getting traffic is essential to have a store. Then team. So I was working alone, as you know, and then I had to have a team of one person. That's fine. And obviously, when that person gets ill, or has something unpredictable and cannot go, who is going there? You don't have two, you just have one. So you need to go there and make that backup, because you cannot close the door. For me, that's obviously the pain point of having a street store is people, because you need to get prepared. Even though you have a short budget, you need to guarantee that you have people there, and you train the people constantly. Because even if I have those people with me for a long time, every time that I'm with them, I train them. The contact with the customer, how to take care of a claim, a complaint, because sometimes it happens, how to make the store visible, how to show the products, how to take care of when product comes, what to do, what do you need to do, when things happen, you need to have it structured and people train in order to make it happen the best way for your brand and for the team at the end. And then also you need to have that part of humanity. People are not robots, so you need to train them sometimes, obviously more than once in the same thing, or you need to understand how they are feeling, because they also have a life behind and have problems as everybody everybody else. So for me, people is the biggest challenge, because the rest of it comes. There are customers that are amazing and turn into friends. There are customers that turn into team. I have one
Yeah.
person from my team that was first our customer for a long time, and now she works with the team. And you have customers that start to come by every day. For example, they are not there to buy a pair of shoes every day, but they like to be there and to say hi and to talk about their lives every day because they see a value and they like our company sometimes. And it feels good, it feels good that you are not there only to sell. It feels good that people like to go there because they feel very well with us, and that's great. And so then, as the business was growing, also I needed to have more space. So the more you have stock, the more stock you will have. So it's a challenge. And also, I don't like promotion seasons. Yeah, I think it takes off a lot of value for the collections. So I tend to make it in less units, but not much more than that. All the promotions for Maray are really, really soft. And then the hard promotions are on less units that I need also to clean
Yeah.
the stores and then to expose the ones that are coming up. So but it's a challenge. That kind of part, it's kind of a challenge. And obviously you need to wait that people know that you are there, even though you put communication behind it. You need to wait that people get to know. Sometimes for example, we already have two stores. On the first store, we are there for
Yeah.
3 years, and there are still people that say, "Are you here? Are you here for a long time?" Yes, I'm here for 3 years. Oh, I didn't know. It's like so. You need constantly to work on that. You always collect new customers. So, and you need to treat them right. To treat them right.
So you spoke a lot about people and about customers because I know that's where your passion is. And I'm going to talk about a less passionate part of yours and one where we've had some conversations. But at the end of the day, it's hard to think of any business today that isn't touched by technology. And it's not only because you have a product business that you are immune to it and actually cannot take advantage of it. So I just wonder if there's any for those also in this space, because it's easy to think that you don't need any when you're in this space. Any ways in which technology enhances your day-to-day managing this, and maybe if you've played with any other AI that you want to share, or interesting tool that has really helped you, especially as you're trying to scale the business.
No, before I scaled the business, when it was just me, I loved Canva, and Canva also works a lot with AI,
Yeah.
and it was amazing for me to start working with Canva. Best fee that I paid ever. Honestly, I'm not a very expert on AI. Nowadays I work with an agency, and I know that they use AI to build some effects and some content that is more interesting right now than it was before. And it's easy to make. Before, only with great productions you were doing great things, and now with a few euros you can in obviously knowing how to use the AI platforms and tools and apps, you can make amazing things as well. So I'm super fan, even though I don't wear them in a massive way, but it's also part of the business. Huh? Even I need to focus on a few things, and I prefer not to focus on that. I work a lot on the strategy, on the communication strategy, and so on. Sometimes I also ask help to ChatGPT in order to assess if there's more information, but I always try to make it myself first, and then to make the exercise to see, did I miss something? Is there anything more? uh, i- am I doing the right things, or eventually ChatGPT is going to deliver me more that I can use? And sometimes what I see is that we complement a lot each other, you know
Well,
because I
that is
have
that is
the
the right way, right? It's the enhancement of humans, not the substitution. So you're
exactly.
you're approaching it the best in
But I
most
like doing it,
efficient way.
even if you don't believe me. I really like doing it.
Yeah.
So I like doing the exercise for me, and then complement or revise, or fine tune it, and polish it with ChatGPT. You know, a lot of the times with the collection, it starts with the scratch of the concept of the collection, and then I go to ChatGPT, and it gives me things that are great, but I always feel that it's not my words, but it's getting improved. It's true.
It's
it's
learning your voice.
it's
You
amazing.
just you just
But
need to teach it your voice.
it's true. It's true. But honestly, I see the value of it. It's a bit spooky as well. But I love the part of the creating the concepts and the plans, and then creating also the creatives with that I don't do it anymore myself, but if I need to go there, I go there, and I get a lot of information about it because I'm from marketing. I'm enthusiastic on getting to know it,
Yeah.
but not doing everything anymore.
Oh, but I think you actually spoke about it in a way that that is less obvious, which is the way where I think people think the first thing you do is like research create from scratch, but actually the way you're doing it, where it's your critical thinking partner. I think that is for me, it's the top notch way of using it, because then you can really gather your intelligence with its own intelligence. It's I'm not sure. Sometimes it's a he, sometimes it's a she for me. So it depends a little bit
You
on
know,
that.
Sarah, it's not only the intelligence, but it's the emotion behind it, because a brand has a tone of voice as well.
Mhm.
And I cannot say that part of the tone of voice of Mara is not mine. It is.
So you started hinting a little bit on your vision in terms of you want to be in 10 countries and you want to in 5 years. So what are your future plans now? How gonna make this a global brand if it's not
I, I
already?
I do believe, it's every time that I think about going somewhere, something happens. I thought about going to Israel. Boom. I thought about going US, and 1 week later, we have the Trump measures and taxes. So everything is unpredictable. I have, sometimes you really need to find the right opportunity to dig in and to start going there. Honestly, sometimes the fact that I'm more lonely than I should, it doesn't help because I'm always busy about things that are happening now and here, and sometimes I tend to postpone more long-term plans, and that kind of plan, it implies a lot of investment as well, so it needs to be well done, and you don't want to have miss shots. So sometimes also because I feel that I need more advice in the where and when to go and how to go, that I tend to not going that fast, so I think it eases me a bit, and it slows me down a bit, but I really really need to make that happen soon. Because
Right. So
the
let
environment is tough, even though the brand is growing, the environment is tough, and everyone knows it. So that's part of the game.
you will I will watch out for the next country that you want to go into just in case, and maybe place some bets on the market and see how that goes. But let's take a step back and talk about the executive now, right? Because you were a long-term executive in Danone. You've been running this business for going on 6 years now. What do you feel was similar across the different stages of your career? Maybe a bit of a common line in the way you work.
Always very demanding on myself, and demanding with my teams, but also very human as well. So the fact that I was working in a multinational, but in a smaller business for Danone, it also made me who I am, in terms of fighting also for bigger stuff, you know. And in in Maray is quite the same. You know, I'm always not at ease with what I have. I always feel that I need to go further, that I need to do more, and I can demand to other people more as well. But I also listen a lot what my team has to tell me about the business and about themselves, because i- we are humans at the end. And really, and I'm very pragmatic, as you told, and it was nice to hear that. uh, but also I'm very pragmatic with my team. It's like they have a problem, okay, that's my vision about it. Maybe it's not what you want to hear, but that's my vision about it. So what do you need from me? This is what I need. Okay, so if I can give it to you, I will give it to you. And then that's like at work, you know. I'm very I'm very like this. I was very like I was always like this in at Danone as well with my teams, and I think that that's one of the things that I'm more prouder to be, because it's very easy when you are tough and a bit short in timings, that you start to be too demanding, and at the point that you don't care about the people that are around you, and I don't like it. I never I never liked it.
So pragmatism and humanism
Yes,
have
and
have been.
resilience as well. And resilience. I became very resilient.
So would you say that's what defines you as a leader, or would
Uh,
you
I
add anything else?
I would say that the biggest things that I bring to my entrepreneurship life as a leader at Danone was pragmatism, resilience, and humanism. That I think when you don't lose yourself in the different areas of your life, it's because you are putting part of you in there, your heart in there. And I do most of the things from the heart, so I prefer doing that way.
And so what do you feel like is the hardest part of your job?
It's to be doing everything at one time sometimes.
It's a pretty good
You know,
summary. And what would you say is maybe or has been, because I'm sure you'll have others in the future, your biggest leadership lesson that you've learned, especially in your entrepreneurial journey?
that you need to count on everyone so that that so that the things go right. You know, you have to delegate, but in order to delegate, you have to teach, and then to trust, and go further. You know, and sometimes for me, it's easier to delegate, and when I trust people, it's very easy for me. Until I get that trust, I know that it's not easy to work with me.
Let's take another step back and because you've been talking a little bit about yourself as well and how you are and how you bring that to the business. So let's talk about Joana, beyond Danone, beyond Maray. What does a good day look like for you?
A good day is when I have time for my team, that I teach my team. A good day is a day that I spend a few time with my customers as well, that I hear a good story. And a good day is when I get home and I'm with my kids and with my family here. And, you know, and you feel a bit of, you did what you had to do, and things went well, and you overcome the challenges, and that's it. You know, I don't need big things. One of the things that I'm more prouder of about myself is that I don't need big things in order to be happy. You know, it's a sunny day and I'm happy because it's a sunny day, you know. Sometimes it's just that.
A lot of what you describe is about people and others, right? It's about your team, it's about your customers, it's about your children. And what about yourself? How do you create space for you and to re-energize and recharge a little bit as well?
My time for myself is the time that I go from my hometown to Lisbon, and I don't have much, and I don't need much because I like myself with others. You know, really, I prefer to be with my kids and with other people rather than with myself sometimes alone. You know, and that time that I go commuting from home to work and from work to home sometimes is enough. And when I feel that it's too messed up in my head in terms of what I need to do, what are my priorities, where do I need to go first, what I cannot forget, and all of that, I go to a coffee, I spend there 2 hours, I write with my notebook, I organize myself, and that's it. And that happens once a month or 3 in 3 weeks, and that's okay for me, you know. But that's fine. And sometimes I need just to watch a movie. Sometimes I need to watch that lazy movies, you know, that are from a Sunday afternoon, and not thinking about anything, just to unwind, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a perfect moment for me. As I'm telling you, I'm not that demanding.
Simple moments.
Simple things, simple things in life. I love going on a dinner with my friends, and that's great. And playing table tennis in somewhere, it's like it happens once a year, but it makes my day. Sometimes we don't need that much.
It's funny because we didn't talk about table tennis at the end. At the end, that didn't come through, but we'll leave that as a little mystery here. So, as a final reflection, what advice would you give to the younger self when you were starting your career?
Trust in yourself, go with everything, because 70% of that is about attitude. And try to learn with the others around you. Try to get close to people that know more than you, because that way you will also get the chance to learn, and you will get there.
Do you have any book that you'd like to recommend?
Honestly, it's a lot of books are on my plate by now, but I cannot recommend you what I didn't read yet.
Um, is there a quote you'd like to leave us or that inspires you?
Yes. What would you do if you were not afraid? Sometimes when I need to take tough decisions, I always think about this quote, because the fear gets you stuck, and if you remove the fear from the equation, you do completely different things, usually the best.
And do you have a word of the year for 2025?
Bravery, I would say. I would say that with the world changing this much, as we see every day, we need to be brave to take decisions, to take bold decisions, and to give advice to our kids. Even you know, in our times, when my son was yesterday 15-year-old, and I was wondering what to tell him. It's like, what is the best for him, because when I was 15, it was very clear for me that I need to go to university, that I need to do my academics, and then get a nice job, and then we would see. But it was very clear. And for him, of course, I want him to study. It's not that don't want him to study, but with the eyes and with the world changing so much, you really need to tackle the opportunity there that makes you happy and that delivers you the life that you want to live. I think about this a lot of times nowadays. So I'm demanding with my kids that they study, that they don't miss things undone, but I give less and less advice on what they should be, or what they should do with their lives, because it can be so different from one to the other, and today from in 2 years, that it's so unpredictable that I'm not even being a good mother if I give them too concrete advice. It's tough being living nowadays. It's tough. I guess it's very tough, and when you have to give room for your business, but also give path to your kids, it's very challenging. So don't think too much if it's the right or wrong. Do follow your gut feeling. Of obviously back your decisions with information that you have, and go there. And if it goes wrong, well, there are two hands. There's two hands and a head, and let's do it again.
Joanna, I think being brave, your word of the year. Maybe I will fill up your book recommendation myself with Daring Greatly by Brene Brown, and because that I think that would suit you very much, and I have to bring that one to the top of your pile to see if you can make it a recommendation or not. Thank you so much for being brave and being here with us today at the Make Space for Growth podcast. It was very special because you're a close friend and I haven't done that before, but it's always very inspiring to hear you talk and to hear it and to see the shine in your eyes when you talk about your journey and your vision for Maray. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me, Sara. And it's a great pleasure to keep being with you for a long time now.
I think you can tell the joy I feel when talking to Joanna. We definitely go back a long time, but the most special part of our journey has been how we have grown together in times where life has brought us closer and when life has brought us apart. Joanna is one of those people that always has a smile, and I trust her messages about the importance of people and being in touch with your people bring you extra strength to your life and your business. Whether in corporate or as an entrepreneur, she has been demanding with herself and others, but always complementing this with a good sense of human understanding and pragmatism. Joanna is a doer, a chief everything officer, and I can't wait to see how she takes Maray to the next level. I hope you enjoy the conversation and do share your favorite parts of the podcast in the comments. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave your review. Thank you for listening to the Make Space for Growth podcast. And until we meet again, I get to do this.